Welcome to the Joe Monroe Show. Now, here's your host, Joe Monroe.
Hello, pro wrestling fans and family. How you all doing tonight? I know we don't have a regular scheduled interview tonight. So what I have decided to do, and I spoke with a few friends of mine, and they are on here tonight with me. We have decided to do something called a roundtable, where we're each going to go around and talk about professional wrestling and or their experiences with the Joe Monroe Show. So one by one, we may have some more come in on us. But first and foremost, we're going to have a little magic in this place. First and foremost, representing cards subject to change, the Wizard CZ. Wizard, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you very much. Glad to be back. Appreciate you reaching out to me. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
Not a problem, brother. And also representing wrestling from the 313, the men's kicking ass in Detroit. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you, back at the Joe Monroe Show, none other than my boy, Mike D. Mike D, what's going on, man?
What's going on? What up, though? You all right?
Pretty good, brother. How about yourself?
Man, I'm chilling, man. Just enjoying the rest of my night. Had a long day at work, so you reached out to me to step on the round table. So I'm here.
All right, awesome. Well, we'll get to chill out a little bit today, just talk some wrestling. Speaking of talking wrestling, we all know this gentleman. He is the founder and host of Mayhem Media. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than our good friend, JD. JD, what's up, man?
Hey, Joe Monroe. It's good to be back.
Yeah, no trolls tonight, I hope. If
Excellent.
so, we're all on here.
Excellent.
And a good friend of mine, he was just on the podcast a few days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is him. He shaved his beard. Ladies and gentlemen, representing the Final Count, our good friend, Ryan Mosley. Ryan, what's going on, my friend?
What's up, guys? I'm excited to be here.
What's going on?
Yeah, I changed my beard's no longer here, but it's still me.
Well, Connor Clark says, "Evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Mr. Clark."
Shout out
for those listening.
What up, though?
Go ahead, JD.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's one of my buddies, Connor Clarkson. He's a wrestler, an independent wrestler from the United Kingdom. Make sure you all go check him out. And Joe Monroe, if you don't mind, he's also going to be one of the co-hosts of a new show under Mayhem Media called Into the Barricade. Every 2 weeks, they'll be doing every Saturday night. Every 2 weeks,
Right.
they'll be doing a Raw, like our WWE recap, talking about the previous 2 weeks. It'll likely end up going to once a week, but we're going to start with every other week to start. So shout out Connor Clarkson. And of course, it'll also be the host extraordinaire, Saul Good. And it'll also be Frankie Corleone will be the third host to make out the three-man roundtable in our new show. So shout out to Into the Barricade, and all three of the guys will be pulling that off underneath the Mayhem Media banner.
That's what's up.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome, Jay. Dude, how many people do you got pulling under your banner now?
I have, with those guys, I officially technically have 6 people that kind of work for me.
Right.
We don't make money yet. We're still a startup yet, but technically there's, between both my brands, I got 6 people that work for me.
There you go. Clarkson Wrestler is the page JD is referring to, and looking forward to the debut of the episode of Into the Barricade. Yeah, definitely going to check that out when it pops out.
Yeah, those 3 guys are going to be crazy, man. They have great chemistry with each other, man. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, when I seen Into the Barricade, I'm like, yeah, I've been Into the Barricade a time or two in my wrestling.
Yeah, it's a great name. I'm gonna let Saul Good tell everybody about why it's called that and stuff in the first episode. So make sure you tune into that because it's going to be more about learning about the hosts. The first episode they'll probably do a little bit of wrestling towards the end, but it's going to be about the hosts, and then the second episode will likely be where they start getting into the wrestling heavy.
Okay.
Sounds good. That sounds good. Now, gentlemen, you all have been, most of you very recently on the show. JD, one day we'll grant 3 to yours because it wasn't fair to you for that troll to come on here and disrupt his show. But it was freaking hilarious. We had Mike D trolling him back, and the guy was just shooting blanks while Mike D, JD, and our good friend Cal from Friends of the Squared Circle was, shooting nuclear bombs at him, basically. So it's a good time. Good time. Phenomenal Finds ATL, sponsor of the Joe Monroe Show. How's it going, Phenomenal Finds ATL? First and foremost, gentlemen, if you don't mind, I got a brand here. Speaking of Phenomenal Finds ATL, if you are looking for anything retro, check out phenomenal.atl.com. And we want to thank Triple Crown Wrestling and Ultimate Championship Wrestling as they're bringing back professional wrestling as it should be, and as well as Les Murphy Painting. If you're having any trouble with painting needs, whether it be inside or outside, contact Les Murphy at 734-334-3702. And let me see if I can just pop the guys with a cuckoo kachoo. Looky there, it's Wilson the Walrus. There we go. Yeah. All right, that's enough screen time for Walrus. Sorry, guys.
Dude, you're killing it with the plugs there, man. Nice.
Right.
I'm trying. But we had we had a great time this past, especially some of us this past week. This will be the 8th day straight that I've done a show. But I decided to do the round table early. I was going to wait till the end of the month, and I was like, you know what? Nah, we're going to do it tonight. But you all had a good time. I hope you all had a good time. I definitely had a good time.
Oh, yeah,
And the viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and heck, even Spotify, it's grown up. We've gotten more followers because of you all. So, me from a personal standpoint, thank you all for coming on the show. That's helped a lot. But I do have to brag a little bit on the Wizard here. They are on Spotify, are the most played on Spotify so far.
Awesome.
I think that's
Great
really
job.
awesome.
Congratulations.
Excellent.
And in second place is actually Mike D.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Believe it or
All
not,
right.
bro.
All right, thank you.
And actually, Ryan JD, it's tied between you two for third.
All right.
I'll take it.
Well, I mean, I'm coming for first, but third's fine for now.
What you're saying, Joe,
For
is
now.
you got the best of the best on the panel here.
That's true.
Exactly. I got the best of the best. And, if he's willing to come on here, I have another special guest. He's trying to get everything worked out right now, who will be on a future episode of the Joe Monroe Show. He'll be on Sunday. But he said he's got nothing to do, so he may pop in here. Let's see. I think we got another comment. Hello, Crystal. How you doing? Crystal, y'all guys, she is the one that makes this ugly mug look beautiful with her pictures from the shows. So thank you, Crystal, for all the hard work that you do and for helping the Joe Monroe Show as well. Mostly, I wanted to come in here and thank you all publicly because you guys are freaking awesome. And I want to talk a little bit about wrestling tonight with my friends. Is that okay?
That's cool.
Always
okay.
down to
I'm pretty
talk about
sure.
wrestling.
Definitely.
And we got my referee, Dean Banks. He reffed a few of my matches back when I worked in Corbin. Hello, Dean. How are you?
Hey, real quick, I want to.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
All right, real quick. I know you had mentioned, where we rank on your show on Spotify. I just want to say on my show, JD has my episode with him is the second most viewed show. So, want to give a shout out to him as well. And keep doing what you do, man.
I'm coming for first on there too, buddy. I'm everywhere.
Crystal, you're most welcome, and hopefully your shoulder does get better quickly because I miss working with. She's my best friend when it comes to like ringside work because she takes pictures and I get the clips. So definitely, I miss having you guys around. But guys, let's talk about CM Punk. I'm kidding, JD. I'm kidding.
Okay, good. All right, good.
Well,
where we want to start.
Well, I mean, we could talk about the Wembley video. We talked about it a little bit with the Wizards episode.
The only thing I would say on that is it's not the poke of doom that everybody in social media is making it out to be. WCW is not in 2000 is not AEW today. There's a completely different back office and structure in place. So it's definitely not the poke of doom that everybody is claiming that it is. It was also highly stupid of AEW to air that footage this many months after the event happened. That was something that should have been released a week or maybe two tops after the events happened. If you're going to release it at all, that was when to do it. So, and in terms of, I
No, I
understand
agree with you.
yeah, I understand they're poking at Triple H because Triple H took shots at Will Ospreay. But I mean, that kind of bickering and stuff is just going to bring the whole product down. I think everybody, including the fans, needs to get past the Wembley issue, get past the CM Punk issue, and just move on with what's great about wrestling. Because the WWE is getting better under Triple H or Paul Levesque, if that's what you want to call him. And I think AEW is going to get better. I just think Tony Khan needs to fill out his team a little more. I think he needs more help in the writing and creative department. I think he needs to stop trying to take it all himself.
No, I agree with you. Speaking of you, JD, Connor Clark states, speaking of shout outs, shout out to JD for allowing me to become the first UK guest on his podcast. So, JD, golf clap again for you, my friend.
Thank you very much. And Joe Monroe, reach out to Connor Clarkson. He can be your first UK podcast or guest, unless you've had somebody on already.
I wouldn't mind having someone from across the pond on the show. That actually sounds like a great idea. Speaking of, oh God, well, we're going, somewhere else. We're going to Weirdos. Hey, Party Man, how you doing, bro? I'm kidding. Party Man is the residential Joe Monroe Show weirdo. But with that, I have to agree with you, JD. Like, if they were going to do it, they should have done this like 2 weeks after the event. But at this point, everything, because a lot of people are with that interview that Punk did before. Everything matched up to almost to the T, and that right there made. I know. There's a lot of AEW fans, and I'm not knocking Tony Khan. I mean, they've done some great stuff, but this right here, no, you all shouldn't have done it. You should just let the dishes be done and just move away from it.
Mm-hmm. That whole video to
Mike, you go.
That whole video to me was the equivalent to seeing two teammates in sports get into it. That's all it was. Like, they had a misunderstanding, they tussled, they broke it up. That was it. It was nothing to the point where they wasn't really swinging punches. Nobody had a bloody lip. Nobody, even if they would have. It was no point for it. It was no point for it. Like, and I think right now what they need to focus on is making a product better. I don't know if y'all seen the list on Forbes, but as far as like combat sports or combat sports promotions, AEW is third, and I think the company is worth like $2 billion right now. Of course, UFC and WWE is 1 and 2, but they need to just work on getting the product better. Like, they have the roster, but it just seemed like it's all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like one of them things, like, come with a structure where we like, okay, we know these guys are in AEW. We know these guys are in Ring of Honor. Let's put some good stories together so eventually in a couple of years, we can try to compete with WWE a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I just think they got to kind of get their priorities straight on, where they want to go as far as growing the company.
That's always been my biggest problem with AEW is they don't have consistent storytelling. Yeah. They just, Tony Khan tends to say, hey, here's this match. You all are going to love it, but I'm not going to give you a reason to care about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And even when
my thing is, like, what was the purpose of showing the video? Like, really, in the long scheme of things, what did it do? How did it further storyline?
It starts a brand.
I mean, yeah, again, everyone's pointed out, they need to focus on themselves. AEW needs to focus on themselves. As JD said, Tony Khan needs to get some more people that can take the roles and creative and just go with it. And Tony needs to, in my book, take himself out of it. Take himself out of the creative and just run the business side of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
AEW has grown. AEW has grown enough now that I think that's it. I understood why he ran things at the beginning. It's a brand new company. It's his money. Of course, he wants to make sure. But now you've got a roster. You've got 3 shows a week. You've got a huge roster. You own 2 companies now. And yeah, now is the time where he needs to be focused on. I mean, he should be getting the deal done so that we can watch any AEW episode that we want on a streaming service. That deal should have been done a year ago. So
Yes.
Tony Khan does need to take himself out of the day-to-day operations, and he needs to focus on the big picture stuff as a company.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. So with Ring of Honor, actually, let me get some comments out of the way here. Connor Clark says, yeah, for sure. Shoot me a message on Clarkson Wrestler. Appreciate. Yeah, definitely. I'll shoot you a message probably later tonight, my friend. And Party Man Ken says, you got one more time to call me a weirdo. You guys want to do it together? I'm kidding. No, Party Man, dude, you know I love you. I love you. You're a weirdo, but I love you, brother. But speaking of Ring of Honor, I mean, Wizard, we talked about this the other day, and me, you, and Nick. Why don't they have a separate show on some major network, whether it would be TNT, TBS, or whatever, with Ring of Honor being one of their featured shows and keeping that as a separate brand, as what a certain Vince McMahon was going to do with WCW originally. I mean, why not do that? Ring of Honor is a household name to diehard pro wrestling fans. I think that's another missed opportunity, to be completely honest with you. Unless he was just wanting to have Honor Club keep going.
And I'm sure that's a big part of it, is just wanting to keep Honor Club. But what you should do, Ring of Honor should be treated like WWE treats NXT. It's a feeding ground and a learning program for those up-and-coming wrestlers. It should have its own presence on network TV, not behind a paywall. Sure, I get it. You want to keep Honor Club. I'm a fan of Honor Club. I don't currently have a subscription, but every once in a while I'll pop a month out there and watch some old school Ring of Honor. I've spent most of my adult life following Ring of Honor around for quite a bit. But no, it needs to be treated more like NXT. Keep Honor Club. Put your pay-per-views on there. Do like WWE does with Peacock and have their premium live events stream on the streaming service. But it needs to be out there more. Ring of Honor, like you said, Joe, is a household name. It should not be just this, what for all intents and purposes, in my opinion, an afterthought is how they're treating it right now.
Mike, do you got anything to add, my friend?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I've been saying this. I've said this on a couple of my episodes. I think me and the last episode I did with Professor Bear, we were talking about that. And this was their opportunity to put Ring of Honor on the map. Like Wizard said, keep Honor Club with all the old pay-per-views, all the old matches, and just have the current pay-per-views on Honor Club. But yeah, they definitely need some type of exposure, because I mean, I was actually excited that when he bought Ring of Honor, because I'm like, okay, maybe he's gonna do something with it. Maybe he'll put it on Fridays. Maybe he'll put it on Saturdays. And it's been nothing. And then to kind of go back to what Wizard was saying with the storytelling, and Ring of Honor, I can't think of it. He's the manager for Willow Nightingale. What's his name?
Stokey Hathaway.
Stokey Hathaway. Wasn't he like the GM of Ring of Honor? Now he's a manager again.
Yep.
Something like
it's just
that, yeah.
It's just bipolar storytelling. That's what it is.
Well, and also before we continue on, shout out to Professor Bear and the Wrestling Society Network. Great friends now with the Joe Monroe Show. Thanks, Mike D, for that again.
No problem.
But yeah, I mean, what they say, some white powdered substance is a heck of a drug, from what I heard, and from sources, that's what Tony's taken. So, but that's neither here nor there. Ryan, what's your opinion on the Ring of Honor situation with AEW?
So with Ring of Honor, I think I agree. I agree with Wizard on the fact that Ring of Honor should be treated as a feeder system, as a developmental, if you will. I think Ring of Honor should do something like they're doing with NXT, as far as like going on something like the CW network. You know, and again, like Wizard pointed out as well, make Honor Club like kind of like Peacock is. Do something like along the lines of that. And I think that would really help exposure more, because there's something that's it should be telling to AEW and Ring of Honor as a whole. It should be told, or it should be known to the company that there's a reason why people are leaving your shows early, right after AEW is over, right after Rampage is over. There's a reason why people are leaving and not staying for Ring of Honor, because they don't know, and sad to say, they don't know anything about Ring of Honor. So yeah.
JD, what do you got to add?
I think they all hit the nail on the head there. It's Tony Khan. He's just, it's, you know, he's a new company. He's going to make mistakes, so he just needs to try and start learning from some of those mistakes on a little bit of a steeper curve than he currently is. He's got to figure some of these mistakes out a little bit quicker. Oh, I made a mistake, let's fix it. But not 8 months later, not 9 months later. You got to start working on making it better now, as everybody said. And Ring of Honor, I think I would push back a little bit on that. I think you're going to find some Ring of Honor hardcore fans who would really have a problem with treating it as a minor league to the AEW. I think you would find some fans that would really have a problem with that. I think they're wrong. And I think you guys are right. I think Ring of Honor should be a developmental kind of a thing for AEW. And I think Tony Khan needs to figure out the corporate structure. I think he needs to put both these brands under the same kind of corporate structure and then get a deal with somebody so that he can have both brands on the networks, or with HBO Max. That's actually going to go through. I mean, he's got to figure out how to get these brands on television and accessible to people, because listen, TNT and TBS is great. But for me, I don't have regular cable. I use apps and stuff, and you can't get it anywhere. TNT is only available on a few apps, and those apps are outrageously expensive. Okay. I'm not trying to knock any companies, but Sling in particular is just outrageous, freaking outrageous. So I'm not going to pay for Sling just to have TNT and TBS and be able to watch AEW. It's too expensive. They have to get it somewhere where they can get to the people. Right now, people are talking about the numbers and the viewership, and the reason it's not higher or as high as WWE is because how many people actually have basic cable anymore? How many people have access to TNT and TBS? These are our big networks, but in the terms of a Hulu or a Netflix or an or a Max, they're small. That's where they got to be. They got to get on a bigger one, like the WWE did with Peacock, and now Netflix. They're going to be on Netflix now. So right. I think everybody hit it right on the head. Just they need to. Tony Khan needs to get off of the storytelling. He needs to get in his office and start figuring out his companies.
No, I agree. So who would you guys, who would you say would probably be someone that would be like, hey, Tony, maybe you need to hire this person to kind of help you out structure your business.
JD.
Who?
JD.
JD. Why does shamelessly plug yourself?
Well, you asked.
Jeez Louise. Carter, he says exactly, if TK wants more viewings and a wider audience, they need to make it more accessible to the general population. Then he might see an increase in viewings. No, I agreed. I mean, come on, it's common sense. This has been the deal since the 80s, since, you know, everybody was able to get or wrestling was able, well, I'd probably say it's 70s, but more in the 80s, it developed more, where people was able to access professional wrestling more and more and more, especially when it came to live professional wrestling. But go ahead.
Can I throw? Yeah, I just wanted to throw one more thought in there. And why does TNT and TBS? Why does Turner not have its own streaming service at this point? How is that something they haven't done?
Too many chefs in the kitchen, maybe. Too many owners.
I don't know, but that's something that's why nobody has access to it, because they're not anywhere. They're on basic cable. You can watch some of their shows and stuff, but there's no live or nothing. They don't do anything.
No, I agree.
If you have like the TNT or the TBS app, you need to have a subscription to Hulu or Sling or some cable company
Yeah.
to access things like that.
Yep.
Everything
And,
that AEW has, if you don't subscribe to any kind of cable service or streaming service that has live TV, everything AEW has is behind a firewall, or not a a paywall.
Yeah.
Paywall.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
That's
feels
what
like a
yeah,
firewall.
exactly.
It does.
But Connor Clark stated again, if he is able to do something like WWE did with the WWE network, then that would be brilliant. No, that would be a brilliant start. He has more than enough content.
I disagree. I disagree with that a little bit. I don't think AEW should start their own network. I think they gotta hook up with something that's already going, like the WWE did with Peacock. I mean, the WWE had a network, and then they made the decision to side with Peacock. Even though the WWE network was at least, decently successful. It wasn't like $1 billion cash cow, or it turned into with the Peacock deal and the Netflix deal, but the network wasn't like a failure or anything. They just, other people wanted the content on their streaming service. And I think that's what Tony Khan's got to do. He's got to get somewhere on a streaming service.
Well, look at these friends. Well, if it isn't the man who tried to take over the show. No, Crander. Yeah, I'm kidding. How you doing, Crander? And yep. And Connor says, Crander Q, long time no speak. How are you, bro? But no, I think I got to kind of side with you a little bit, JD, because if they're going to do HBO Max would probably be the thing to do it with, since isn't that a Turner company still? Doesn't Turner and them Warner Brothers or whatever kind of own that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's where he needs to be. I mean, it's common sense, but what do we know? We're just wrestling fans, right, guys? We don't know. We don't know.
My company is young yet, so I'll stay humble.
I'll stay humble. But in all seriousness, who would you hire? Would you hire like an Eric Bischoff, or would you hire someone like Kevin Sullivan to come in and help, or like people in that nature? Who would you help?
I would not hire Kevin Sullivan to do anything. I appreciate and respect his history in the business, but I think that time has passed what he would be telling by. I think wrestling is beyond him at this point. Eric Bischoff, I think, would be a good start. I'm a big fan of Eric Bischoff, and I think he has good ideas. He has Jeff Jarrett as in the front office as a corporate person. I think you put him on the creative team underneath Bischoff or something like that, you could have a good balance. Please, for the love of everything that is great about wrestling, don't hire Vince Russo.
Yes, do not hire Vince Russo.
No.
Don't get me on a tangent, please.
Let me counter Eric Bischoff. Would he even want anything to do with AEW? Isn't he one of their biggest critics?
Yes, he probably wouldn't, but
yes,
I think he would be able to help them.
Yeah,
I don't disagree. I think he would too, but I don't think he would touch him with a 10-foot pole.
No, probably not.
I got a name. And he actually used to be a writer with WWE, and there was rumors about him starting his own promotion, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
That would be someone. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You know, I don't know. You know what his background was when he was a writer.
Apparently, he's pretty passionate though about the wrestling business.
Yeah. And I think,
but him and Vince, they butted heads too much, from what I heard.
Oh, now see that I didn't know.
Well, who didn't butt heads with Vince in the last 30 years? Triple H, The Rock.
That's true. That is true.
And John Cena.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, speaking of, go ahead, Bub.
I was just thinking. I haven't followed him in a while, but where's Jimmy Jacobs right now? Is he already with AEW? Because he was a former WWE writer that would do a good job, in my opinion. I think
he's still with TNA.
Is he with TNA?
Okay,
I believe so. Yeah.
Because I could see him in that position to do a really good job with the book at AEW.
That's actually a good point there. Ryan, who would you say?
So speaking of TNA, I would go with and his name is slipping my mind right now, and that's terrible. the guy that was fired from TNA.
D'Amato.
Yeah. I couldn't think of his name. Yeah.
Scott D'Amato.
Scott
D'Amore.
Scott D'Amore.
That's it. Yep.
I think he would work perfectly for AEW as someone that he has the mind for the business. He look at how he took Impact, TNA, and made them relevant again.
Yeah, he really did.
And so, I think he would work perfectly for AEW and Ring of Honor and just the whole company.
Plus, I love me some Team Canada. I mean, come on, that was an underrated faction.
Yeah,
that was a way underrated faction. But let's shift gears. Go ahead, JD.
No, I was just going to make a comment about the Canadian Destroyer, and I wish that the AEW announcers would call it the Canadian Destroyer instead of just the Destroyer all the time. Just like I'd wish they would call it the Diamond Cutter and not just the Cutter.
Speaking of AEW, anyone seen any matches of Zach Zodiac, who's another UK wrestler that made it into a US promotion? Personally, I'd love to see. You know what? Believe it or not, Connor, I would love to see that match. Him and Ospreay would have a heck of a match. Zodiac, as you guys know, is Soraya's brother. Did I say her name right?
Okay.
That's her brother, and he's actually one hell of a talent. And I would love to see him and Will Ospreay go. That would be a very, very interesting match. Connor, thank you for bringing that up. God, I can just picture it. Sorry. But, AEW, I think what they're running into is kind of what I would say what WWE's kind of running into still, just an overloaded roster in a way. Mm-hmm. Like they have so many great talents.
I think it appears that way because I don't think they have 8 hours of programming a week. And then they did have Elevation and Dark, which I guess they're not doing anymore. Another huge mistake. Exactly. They're just not showcasing their talent correctly right now. I mean, Collision shouldn't even have been a thing. It wasn't even supposed to be made. He made it for Punk. Another huge mistake. So, it's just, like I said, he's got to start learning from some of these mistakes, and he's got to make some adjustments. I understand he put all this money into Collision, but, maybe it doesn't need to be, a 2 or a 3 hour show. Maybe it needs to be shrunk down, and maybe it needs to be rebranded and get some of these younger guys and on the card more, you know what I mean? And Dark and Elevation should still be featured. It should still be used. That's where a lot of people were getting not just experience, but you got to see him on YouTube. Willow Nightingale started there. And there's some others that started on Dark and Elevation who then developed and came on TV. So I think that it comes down to Tony Khan needs to run the company, and he needs to stay focused on that and take the bigger picture view. Because he's not utilizing his roster, his TV time effectively right now.
Agreed.
And I said this on the last episode I was on with Joe, I believe, or maybe it was on one of my. Everything blurs together because every show I've been on in the last 3 weeks has just been. It feels like it's my show, if that makes sense. So it's been really fun, and things are blurred, but. How many people has Tony Khan made really hot and then swept under the rug? I'm talking names like Wardlow, Ricky Starks.
Powerhouse Hobbs,
Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, Chris Jericho. I mean, Chris Jericho can be hot whenever he damn well wants to be, so he doesn't.
Well, hang on. Chris Jericho's a totally different story. Do I need to remind you of the NDA incident? I think that's what kind of halted Jericho, was that whole NDA thing, and they were afraid to be like, okay, Chris, let's just move you over here for a little bit.
But Jericho could be off TV for a year, and when he comes back, he's going to get heat or cheers, whichever he wants.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you're right.
That's why they kind of halted him, though, was because of that whole thing.
Yeah, right after the Ocho. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another thing, I know we talked about what they haven't been doing with Ring of Honor. Another thing that I thought that AEW should do is kind of take a page from WWE and do a brand split. And you know what I'm saying? So all these saturated, all these superstars you got, at least you'll have some on Ring of Honor, and then you'll have some on AEW. And some of those top stars at AEW that you put on Ring of Honor, you give Ring of Honor a show, get them some exposure, get them some viewers, you know. So it's a lot that they could do with Ring of Honor and just the company overall that they just got to put their heads together and do it.
I'm not a fan
Agreed.
of the brand split.
Well, you know, that's something else I want to talk about. This is a great transition period. I was talking to a friend of he's a friend of mine. That's all I'm going to say. He was like, it was about the World Tag Team titles. And honestly, I personally like the World Tag titles now. The
I
new
do
World
too.
Tag titles.
No. They haven't
I
got
like it.
I'll be the soul of opposition here. I'll be the one man against the four of you. I haven't liked the tag titles since the 90s.
Okay, well, fair. But
I like them, but they're gonna have to grow on me. Like I wish it would have been the ones from. I like the '90s ones, but I like the ones from like the 2003, 2004, however long they lasted. I like those ones.
when you take me to court, Crander, we'll talk then. But Crander's actually agreeing with you today, JD. He said 100%.
Thank you, Brandon.
I like them. They're different.
I like them.
Yeah, and we that kind of started an argument, not really an argument, but kind of a debate a little bit. You know, he's like, "What's the purpose of the brand split now?" Because the heavyweight title, he goes, "It has no lineage." I'm like, "Well, it's supposed to be lineage to the old heavyweight title." He goes, "Yeah, but that was mixed in with the WWE title back in the mid 2010s."
Yeah.
He says, "So that's kind of irrelevant. They basically just made a new title." Because they didn't want the belt off Roman. I was like, fair, but that world title has grown on me, and I think it's grown on a lot of fans, especially this past Mania. Dear gosh, I mean, you know, Drew McIntyre, people went freaking nuts. Then CM Punk attacked him. Then you hear the Judgment Day music, and here comes Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest cashing in at a perfect opportunity, pulling the Seth Rollins, if I may add, and winning the world title. But personally, he deserves it.
What are isn't it still the WWE Championship and then the Universal Championship?
No,
what are they called?
It's
now
the
it's
WWE
the go ahead.
Universal Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay, so
Actually,
the Universal Championship should share lineage with the WWE champion that was through the championship in the 90s, and the World Heavyweight Championship should trace its lineage back to Big Goldie, the big gold belt, and the actual World Heavyweight title. So it doesn't really seem like it's that complicated. And I don't think that changing the belts makes the lineage of the belts obsolete. They're just revamping the belts. We've seen that through many companies.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. I was like, we've seen this repeatedly in wrestling. We've seen a title go away, then come back. It's the same lineage. But actually, this was confirmed on WWE.com. It's now called the WWE Championship again. It's no longer Universal.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I was like, thank God, because
Yeah.
I think the Universal was more of a McMahon thing. But I was like, just call it the WWE Championship. We got the World Heavyweight title now. Just call it the WWE Championship. That way, you know, poor Samantha doesn't have to say so many words. But no, like he was like, I hate this brand splitting. They shouldn't keep the brand split. And I'm like, let's see. Joshua R says they need to revamp all the belts. I think they need to revamp the tag belts and keep. I like the Intercontinental and the United States title. If it's like the NFL teams with logos, they start the Era Eagles as champs. Haha, sorry, JD. Hey, what the heck?
You're blackballed from Mayhem Media, buddy.
And Conda thinks, I think the revamping of the titles just demonstrates the era of Triple H. Yes, I agree. It's a new era. It feels like a new era. That finish between Cody and Roman, it does feel like a whole new era. People was like, well, what about the Bloodline? Well, they're doing something great with the Bloodline, it feels like, where we have, we talked about this with the Wizard. We had Tama Tonga debut in a heck of a fashion, as he should be. Let's see, $20 says they'll revamp the Cody belt.
He'll definitely get his own belt.
He's been.
I agree with that. Cody's going to get his own belt like Stone Cold Smoking Skull or the Brahma Bull for The Rock. I think too.
It'd be nice if it was the Winged Eagle.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Cody been talking about he want to bring the Winged Eagle title back. I could see that with but kind of modernized.
Yeah, I agree, Mike D. Totally. Because I don't think they'll just bring the old school belt back, but I could see them like revamping it a little and trying to make it a little bit more modern and but paying homage to it still. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it'll probably be like the W. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I know Crander Q had mentioned something about football and the Eagles. If y'all get a chance, check out those new Detroit Lions uniforms. They got revealed today.
I've seen them. They look pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
I may have to break down and buy me one because they'll have a hell of a season next year.
Mike D and I were talking. Yeah, Mike D and I had an episode where we were talking about how the Lions really turned things around as an organization. Sorry, we're getting on football now, but I just wanted to comment. We could have a conversation about how they turned that organization around, not just the team, but the entire organization.
They did, and that's what it kind of feels like with, especially like here in Kentucky with college basketball. We lost Calipari, but we got a Pope, and it's a new era for Kentucky UK basketball, which is a big thing nationally. Detroit Lions with the NFL, Paul Levesque, WWE. It's a new era for sports in a way, if you stop and think about it. And this happens every time there's like this new era that comes into any sport. It all kind of falls in like a domino effect that I've noticed.
And I kind of want to say, like you said, how sports is on the rise. I kind of want to say that what you're seeing in women's basketball is kind of what you were seeing with the women's revolution, with the 4 horsewomen, and what you're seeing with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and the other college players that just got drafted this Monday. So, yeah, it's funny how
Caitlin Clark, God almighty. Get out of here, Crander. All right. It all centers down to a new era beginning with a demonstrated individual and uniquely between the different sports. Yes. I agree. And that's what it feels like. I hate to say it, but they did a good storyline with Cody and Roman. This is a 2-year journey almost. Or was it? It's close to a 2-year journey for Cody because he debuted at Mania 38. Then at Mania 40, he's the champ, the championship that has avoided the Rhodes family because Cody is a former Ring of Honor world champion. He's a former NWA World's champion. He won the IWGP United States Championship while holding the NWA World's title. Now he's a WWE champion, not to mention what he did before him being a multi-time Intercontinental champion and tag champion. So Cody has his own lineage, and I think that was the right guy to do it, given how everything's going. Now, a guy who they're probably banking on for Raw is Mr. Yeet himself, Jimmy Uso, and I think that's smart freaking move right there.
Yep. Hey, Jay Uso is hot right now, and Jay Uso is just hot off his entrance. His entrance is just what make him hot. You know what I'm saying? And of course, he's a good wrestler or whatever. And I him stepping, he's not necessarily out of the bloodline storyline. He's still in it, but he's still on Raw. And for him to go on there and to kind of like be able to still, be able to do his thing and shine as a solo star. I said it beginning of the year that he's a future champion in 2024. So
agreed.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it's gonna go because I kind of see him winning the world title this year, but with what they did to Jimmy Uso, it's kind of like, okay, so what's gonna happen? Are the Usos gonna get back together? Is he gonna, say no? I'm good. I'm not about to help y'all. I'm doing my thing. So this bloodline story got it's like the Chutes and Ladders game board.
See, I hope with the Judgment, or not the Judgment Day, but the Bloodline and Jimmy and Jay, I hope that Jay, when Jimmy does come up to him and ask for his help, that Jay does say no, because I want to see with the match at WrestleMania, and I don't know if anyone want to talk about this, but with the match at WrestleMania, there was a lot left to be desired with that match.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody would agree with me, but there was a lot left
I agree.
to be desired with that match. So I
But
definitely
yeah,
would, if he reaches out to Jay, if Jimmy reaches out to Jay and says, "Hey, come help me with this bloodline issue," I want him to say no, and there to be that issue between them still to see what we didn't see at WrestleMania.
And then this
No, I agree.
And there's another thing too. If Jey Uso does win the World Heavyweight Championship, does he put himself in there as the tribal chief? You know what I'm saying? Or how does that go? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think I discussed this with the Wizard. I want to say his dad is technically the actual tribal chief of the family.
Okay. Rikishi, right?
Rikishi, yeah, I think he is. Now, Connor brought up something pretty good. When Cody loses that title, I kind of want to see him, Randy, and Jay as a new legacy feuding with the Bloodline. Now, that would be kind of interesting in a way.
Yeah. Who else would you add it? Who else would you put in that group though? Cody, Jay.
I'm kidding.
I think you would just keep it if you're going to try to remake what Legacy was the first time. It was just a 3-man stable. So I think I would leave it I would just leave it a 3-man stable again.
Yeah.
But who?
I just keep it at.
That's what I'm like. Because it was basically guys that they fathers had was past wrestlers. So I'm just thinking like who would be that third member? Like who would
if you said Jay, Randy, and Cody.
Oh. Now if you take Randy out of the picture in a way, kind of have him be like the Bobby Heenan, which I think he could probably do because the man can freaking talk. That would be interesting. You know, who else would he put in there as kind of the new legacy? Because at one point in time, believe it or not, there was another legacy member. It was very short lived. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. But he was Samoan.
I was just gonna say that.
It was I think it was Jimmy Snuka's son because he went on to become. I think so because didn't one of them wasn't one of them Deuce and Domino or something like that?
I think that was
Jimmy's son.
It was Snuka's son. Okay, so that makes sense now.
It was Manu.
Manu, yeah.
Manu, yeah. Thank you. So that would be interesting to see legacy, but I think what we're going to end up with is Connor says maybe Sami Zayn as a fourth man. You know, that would be interesting. But what I think would be interesting, even more interesting, is I think it's going to happen. Me and CZ has talked about it with Nick on the show they was on with me. Jacob Fatu signed. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Does he come in kind of like how Tama Tonga came in? Or are we going to get Tonga Leia in? How is this going to work? We don't know. The whole bloodline thing, they have routes that they can go with this. And I think that's the beauty of the bloodline. People's like, oh, it ended when Roman's reign ended. No, it didn't. This thing's far from over. You can do so much with this. It's not even funny.
And then I was reading an article. Rikishi was talking about the whole bloodline story, and he says he could see at Survivor Series a War Games match, a Bloodline Civil War.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. He was saying,
and that would be one heck of a build-up too.
He said he could see on one side Roman, Jimmy, and Jay, and on the other side, Solo, Tama Tonga, and The Rock. So you know what I'm saying? That's like this bloodline story got so many twists and turns. They got more twists and turns than the soap opera.
Yeah, unless Jacob and Zilla side with Jay. You know, I completely forgot. I hate to say it. I completely forgot about Zilla. Zilla is freaking. Just like his dad, a monster.
That you could do with the bloodline thing, with the bloodline story, like because there's so much depth in that family. And like I saw a TikTok video recently that was talking about how like the Bloodline could make history being the first ever generational faction that just keeps on going.
Yeah,
Just something to think about there.
Yeah,
JD?
that's
I
possible.
agree. I agree with that.
They do have enough offspring. There's enough of them. There's enough of them that they could keep it going for a while. Yeah.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I've always said that the forming of the NWO was like the best storyline in professional wrestling. I think the Bloodline storyline is creeping up there and starting to become the number one storyline.
Yeah, the depth of the Bloodline family could probably go into the end of the decade. Yeah, I agree, Connor. I think we all would agree with that. And Mike, I kind of agree with you. To me personally, because the problem with the NWO, there was too many members, but the way they're treating this Bloodline story, they're limiting the members at a certain amount. And I think, I know you're an NWO guy, but I think it's almost kind of surpassed the NWO in that way.
Yeah. I'm starting to lean that way too, because it's like you said, the NWO had too many members, and I think that even when they split up and did the Wolfpack, they didn't put the right members in the group.
Oh hell no, they got.
It should have been Hall, Nash, Six.
Well, they didn't have Six though.
Oh yeah, you know what? X-Pac was Six was gone.
Yeah, he was gone early. Yeah. Bischoff cut him right after he broke his neck, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge Sean Waltman fan either. So for me, that didn't. I mean, but it would have made better story if they had kept him though to make the Wolfpack.
Yeah. How are you not a Sean Waltman fan?
I don't know. I don't get it. He's like, it's like, I mean, I don't hate him as much as CM Punk because I don't hate X-Pac or Six or whatever you want to call him. I think he is a good wrestler. I think he had some amazing storylines. I loved him and Kane as a tag team together. Yeah. I'm a big fan of DX. So it's just, I don't really, he's a small guy that can be thrown around. I never really bought him winning a match.
Crander said Dusty was in the NWO.
Dusty was in the NWO.
I'm going to bionic elbow you if you don't hush. Yes, but you were right. He was in the NWO. I'm kidding, Crander. I love you, buddy. But no, I think it's kind of like you said, Mike. It's crept up, but I think it's like there. Like, okay, we're approaching like greatest faction of all time almost. And the NWO is seen as one of the greatest factions of all time, aside from like the Horsemen. The Horsemen to me is
I'm a huge NWO fan, but Four Horsemen all day.
Oh yeah.
The original Horsemen now, the original Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
No offense to Mongo or any of them.
Even the one where Ole, even the version of them when Ole was like the manager, like I would still accept that one too.
Yeah, when Ole, that one's pretty good. Connor said he loved Sean Waltman as the 1, 2, 3 kid. Yeah, so did I. I mean, 1, 2, 3 kid. I should have gotten rid of that elite.
He's a nice little guy who can get thrown around and make the big guys look really strong. Yeah, you're right.
Oh my God,
you guys are right.
Oh man, I want to put JD as possibly the Jim Cornette of the Jim Show. F these guys. This is why.
I hope my opinions are a little bit more relevant and a little bit more thought of than Jim Cornette's though.
Yeah, but was Spike? Yeah, Spike was like that too. You gotta
get Spike was exactly like that too. If you take the Dudley out of his name, he's just another small guy that gets thrown around.
Yeah, they used to throw him around like they didn't care what happened with Spike Dudley because they used to just throw him.
Paul Heyman would end up being Cody's manager.
I don't know. I think he's going to stay with the Bloodline. I don't see Paul Heyman getting away from the Bloodline. He'll and if they're going to do a civil war, he'll take one side or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get that there's a mutual respect between them just because of Dusty, and we got that at Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame speech, which is probably one of the best speeches in Hall of Fame history. I don't know. I don't think that will. $20. Bet. All right. Bet. All right. Connie Clark says the bun seats.
I'll take
that bet. You'll take that bet?
I'll take that bet.
The wizard said he'll take that bet. Don't Josh back off now. He might
Even if
cast a spell or something.
I'll amend my comment. If Paul Heyman ends up being Cody's manager, it's because some of the bloodline has decided to back Cody. That's the only way it happens. I don't believe Paul Heyman breaks away from the bloodline.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. That would make sense. That kind of bring kind of full circle back to Cody, because we all know The Rock and Cody are going to go at it. I would probably say SummerSlam time, maybe, if not next Mania.
I'm gonna say
build it
next
the whole year.
Mania.
Yeah, they could build
Next
it the whole
Mania.
year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
And people don't
one
have
of us
to see
in
Rock
here,
again.
right. So one of us in here was actually at the SmackDown Tama Tonga was in. Mike.
Oh yeah.
So how was that? Because Tama Tonga has been in New Japan for years. How was that reaction once people realized it was Tama Tonga? Like, because people
man.
say, "Oh, they're piping in crowd noise." You were there. You were the man in the field. How did it actually sound?
No, people were actually shocked. People were actually surprised when he came from under the ring and he took the hood off. Yeah, a lot of people were shocked. And even when I saw on social media, people's TikTok videos and Instagram, when he came out and took that hood off, a lot of people were shocked.
All right, so because a lot of people was like, "Oh, that's pipe noise." I'm like, I don't know. That's Tama Tonga, man. He was actually like Tama Tonga.
I'm gonna tell you too. They like to say that the heat that Dominic gets when he wrestled in a dark match against Cody, and when he tried to talk to the crowd, they booed the hell out of him. So the heat for Dominic is real. So yeah.
Well, I mean, his father Eddie Guerrero was a big heel too. So. Oh, did you all see the interview? It was one of the Mania interviews. I think it was Chris Van Zet. Is that how you say his name?
Van Vliet.
Sorry, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah.
He interviewed Ray. He said, "Do you kind of regret winning that match at SummerSlam for the custody of Dominic?" He's like, "If I knew now what I knew then, I probably just gave him to Eddie." Oh my god, that's great right there.
They should bring that back into storyline, like an updated kind of version of that.
I can only imagine how would that storyline have unfolded if we still had Eddie around. That would have been amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially with the LWO, because Eddie was the founding member of the LWO. So imagine how that would be.
I can't believe when they brought that back. I was really happy about that. I was like, yes, that is so cool that they're bringing that back.
It was overlooked in WCW, and I think it was way overlooked in the history books. Now they have a chance to kind of bring it up a bit. Josh R says it will be all those New Japan guys and Solo versus Cody and the OG bloodline. I get what he's saying by, I think he's talking about Tonga Leia. Is that Tama Tonga's brother, right? Tonga Leia. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can see him coming in, which would be great. That way we can have GOD in WWE, or Firing Squad, whatever you guys want to call them. That'd be a good way to bring back Haku too. Then have Jacob Fatu and Zilla in as well. Another great tag team that's just tearing it up the past 6 months. God, this Samoan Dynasty family, man, they're just great athletes.
Yeah.
A lot of people's like, oh, it's the same moveset. Yeah, that's great, but look at the delivery they put that moveset into. Each one of them individually, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, Rosie, for crying out loud, he did the thing with the hurricane. It was great. Then he was in 3-minute warning with Umaga before then.
Mm-hmm.
Then look at Umaga transitioning from 3-minute warning to the Samoan bulldozer, Umaga.
Yeah.
Yes.
I personally think Umaga was someone that was underrated and should have. I think he should have been heavyweight champion of the world.
I don't think he had the time. I think he was going that way, but it was going to be just like they did with a lot of their superstars. It was going to be a slow build. I think he would have eventually been the champion, but I think he passed before they had that chance to put it in the story.
So speaking of the Samoan Dynasty, did you all catch the A&E biography of Roman? Did you all catch that yet?
Yeah,
No,
I
I
caught
didn't see it.
Yeah,
Y'all haven't yet?
yeah,
No,
I caught
I
it.
haven't.
I caught some of it.
Oh, you caught some of it, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so some of us have. I think it was. I think it's on YouTube that you all can watch it. Umaga should have had a better push. Yes, I agree. He should have, Connor. 100%. I think out of anybody out of the Samoan Dynasty, I think Umaga was kind of, I wouldn't say overlooked, but he should have been pushed a little bit better. He could have been the monster that Yokozuna was, but different. Does that make sense?
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think the Samoan Bulldozer thing with Estrada with him, that was a great combination. They had chemistry, and that should have went on for a really good while. But maybe, who knows? Maybe we might, if Zillow signs up, we might be able to see just what we do see on the independent scene. We might see a little bit more of that in WWE again.
You think they'll ever add a female into the bloodline?
I think that should have happened long ago.
Well, Nia acknowledged Roman at the Hall of Fame.
I think she'd be the perfect person for the bloodline, Nia Jax. Like everybody say Naomi because Jimmy's in the bloodline. No,
Nia.
Naomi is not I love Naomi, but she's not a good heel.
How was Sasha Banks? How was Sasha Banks not put into the bloodline before she went to AEW?
She related?
Do I have that wrong? Do I got something wrong? Sasha Banks? I might have that one wrong.
Oh no,
she's related to Snoop Dogg.
What about Tamina?
Oh, she's related to
Tamina.
Why did I think Sasha Banks was part of the Samoan family?
No, you talking about Nia Jax.
Oh, she's related to the Samoan family.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Okay, my apologies, everybody, for how.
And so is Tamina, right? Tamina is too, or someone.
Tamina, yep.
Because Tamina is Snuka's daughter.
Yep.
And actually, Tamina debuted with the Usos. When they debuted on Raw, they debuted together. So I think Nia and Tamina would be perfect. Either put them as a tag team, or if you're not gonna put Tamina in there, just have Nia go solo.
No pun intended.
Right.
Let's talk about Solo for a minute, because he said there's consequences for actions. Yet this man's on a losing streak.
I think he deserved better. He deserved better. I know that he's kind of like the enforcer of the faction, but it's like, give him something more to do. You know what I'm saying? Like he got his big win against Cena, but other than that, he hasn't done anything else. He could have been in the match with Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens, making a fatal 4-way. The whole point of being a faction is just being dominant. You know what I'm saying? And right now, Solo is dominant, but he's not winning the matches to kind of like get him over.
Right. So Josh R says Rock will come back, and with them, Roman will come back. Spear Rock, and it will be Cody and OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline Survivor Series. That would be interesting. And Rusty Roman says Tamina retired. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
I didn't know that either.
Did not know she retired.
Hey, the last time I saw Tamina, when they showed that video of The Rock buying her a house, that was the last time I saw Tamina.
Let's see. They are building him slow. Usos are getting older, so they got to get. So they got their next Samoan. Yeah, I agree. Solo, and honestly, I think Jacob and Zilla would be probably the next tag team that would come in if they end up putting them together, or God if they decided to put them back together. I know I'm just a big God fan. I think they were way overlooked and should have been signed a long time ago. Because if you want to include New Japan on the independent scene, they were freaking amazing. Did they ever go up against FTR?
Not that I'm not sure.
FTR.
I can't recall if they did or not. Yeah, because I would love to have seen God versus FTR. That would have been a hell of a match. We probably up there with, well, no, it'd be close to their feud with the Briscoes, but that dog collar match, that double dog collar match with FTR and the Briscoes. I know I'm going every way right now, but I have ADHD brain, so I'm sorry. But I think WWE, it's a new era. Everything's going to work out as it should be. I think Paul Levesque has a great.
Yeah, I agree, and I think WrestleMania kind of showed that it was a new era. You know what I'm saying? Like this was the first one without Vince McMahon, and it just ran so smooth. Like Stephanie coming out and basically putting her stamp on it, like this the Paul Levesque era, and it's so far so good. And I think bigger and better things are happening, are in line for WWE.
I think for all of wrestling, because I think as long as AEW can get some of their stuff together, competition, makes everybody better. So I think AEW being around and becoming more successful will help both companies get better.
Yeah, I agree.
So Rusty stated Solo, Rock, Tama, and Jacob versus Roman, the Usos, and Zayn.
I could see that Sami Zayn coming.
I could see
back.
Sami get back into it. Yeah. Might feel a little more oozy then, but sorry. Let's see. Josh R says you can't put Solo in that match for the titles if you're trying to make him the new head of the table. With Solo, just like they needed to make Gunther lose that title. Oh, Gunther losing the title, I think. Personally, I could see him winning the World Heavyweight title within the year.
Me too.
He's
transitioning. That's another guy that I got being a world champion this year too.
Yeah. Rusty states WrestleMania 40 seemed weird without backstage interviews and vignettes. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Is this the first Mania that hasn't happened?
I want to say that was the first one that I could think of.
But you kind of had the backstage vignettes in a little bit. Like you kind of had the moment between Sammy and Kevin Owens before Sammy walked to the ring. You kind of had that, so I guess that was kind of a backstage segment type thing.
They're really trying to give it more of a real sports feel, I think, and that's why they didn't do as many of the backstage segments or vignettes, if any. I'm trying to think. The Sami Zayn one does stick out in my mind, having him walk through Gorilla and meeting up with Kevin Owens. But yeah, I think they're trying to go for more of a real sports feel than anything else. Now, especially you look at the presentation of their shows, you've got different camera angles, you've got people arriving at the arena. It just feels more sports oriented than entertainment oriented right now.
I agree.
No, I agree with you. And Rusty thinks I swore Walter losing the IC title would set up Drew versus Walter in Scotland for the world title, but not now. Actually, that would have been very interesting.
Yes.
Is Drew going to even be with the company by then? You know what I'm saying? Because when is Clash at the Castle?
I'm not sure.
Say July? Is it July?
So that sounds right.
Yeah. Because I think Drew McIntyre only got a little bit of time left on his contract. So
yeah, and 4K cameras.
He might not even be at Clash at the Castle.
Clash at the Castle is in mid-June.
Okay. Yeah.
Either the 15th or the 16th.
Now, Connor's got a question. What do we think about Sheamus returning? Quit body shaming the man, first off. He got married. He can gain a little bit of weight. Just
I'm
saying,
glad to
as a
see him
fat
back.
Irishman myself,
I'm glad to see him back, and I'm glad
he's
that,
not
that
fat.
his theme song is back too.
Yes.
Yes.
That
It's
was my
just
favorite part about his theme song, having his theme song back.
Yeah. The thing with me with Sheamus is, okay, he's coming back, but what are they gonna do with him? Are they gonna stick him in a tag team? Are they gonna stick him, fighting for the Intercontinental title? It's just, because it seemed like in the past they've been kind of underusing him, with the whole the brawling brutes and stuff like that. And so I would like to see him not necessarily be like another champion again, but at least, give Cody some type of, challenge Cody for the belt or challenge Damian Priest, somebody. But, it just seemed like in the past, his run been kind of underwhelming.
Let's see. Kind of like Josh Briggs telling Ivar to go back to Raw and get beat up by Sheamus again Tuesday night. Yeah, that's pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, the only thing that distracted me with Sheamus is that freaking W on his tights. I'm like, why do you got the WWE logo on your freaking tights, bro? Come on. What the heck? Did you guys notice that? I love you, man, but what the hell, bro? Yeah, hang on. You see it now?
Oh my.
Oh god, still the troll's not as individually messy. Let me just block this son of a... All right, go away, dude. All right, sorry guys. So with that, okay. JD, if you got to bounce, my friend, go ahead and bounce. It was great having you on, my friend. I know you got something else to do. Sorry, we were talking a little bit over.
Oh no, it's not a problem. I wish I could stay a little bit longer, but my sister show, the Boiling Point podcast, has a live coming up in a few minutes. So I'm going to leave this live and then in a couple minutes be live somewhere else.
All right, brother. Well, hopefully everything goes great over there tonight.
Yeah, and great. It was very nice to meet you all. Reach out, Mayhem Media. I'd be happy to have any of you guys on the show. And for everybody watching, check out Mayhem Media, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and in not this weekend, but next weekend. What is it? The 27th, I believe it is. The 27th, Saturday the 27th, Into the Barricade. Our new show starts. I'll catch you guys later. See you on the other side.
All right,
see you, brother.
Nice meeting you.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. He said he had to bounce. But with the with Sheamus, I mean, I would love to see. I would like to see Sheamus in like a world title, in the world title picture. Yeah, the 27th.
I would like to see him have another run with the title. I wouldn't be upset by that at all.
Rusty, thank you for checking out the Wrestling Society Network Facebook page. I just recently got put joined there whenever we had Professor Bear on here. Thanks to Mike D. Again, thank you, Mike, for that.
No problem.
So guys, yeah, if you want your shows, just hit up Professor Bear. He'll probably say, yeah, come on. They put any and all wrestling content on their shows and on there, and they got their own thing. It's on Roku, Apple TV. Where else, Mike D? You
Amazon Fire Stick.
Thank you, Amazon Fire Stick. So go check them out, y'all. Just a little shameless plug for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, this has been pretty fun. Is there any other topic that I'm missing? Or is there any topic that you all watching right now? Believe it or not, guys, we got 5 viewers here who are watching. He's a day one guy. Awesome. Thank you, Rusty, for supporting him since day one ish. Sorry, I had the ish at the end. But is there any questions that you have for us with this first round? Guys, we might have to do this again. Would you all be able to want to do this again sometimes?
Oh, I'm down.
Absolutely.
This has been fun. This has been more fun than what I thought it was going to be. CZ, would you want to do it again, my friend?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm all down for it.
We need to get Nick on here whenever he's not busy.
He was
Swerve
having
or
a
Joe? Swerve or
Ooh.
Joe? Ooh, that's a good question. We actually talked about this. Speaking of CZ and Nick, we talked about this because you asked me, "What do you think about Swerve Strickland? Where is he going to be? If he does not win this the AEW heavyweight title, world heavyweight title, 3 months tops, they'll sweep him under a rug. I hate to say it.
You
I
might
love
as well
Swerve.
get the rug ready. I
Yeah,
do too.
You know what? Now that you just said it, because I was just about to say that, I'm ready for Swerve to be the champ, but I'm not ready for Joe to drop the belt. But you are right about what you said. If Swerve take this loss, he'll probably be on Rampage most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's
Connor and
yeah.
Connor, you got an open invitation to come over here and hang out with us, man. I actually love Anarchy in the UK, so we'll definitely have you on here. I'm a Sex Pistols fan, so there you go.
I love Joe, but I'm gonna have to go Swerve.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Go ahead.
Ryan, go ahead. Why Swerve?
Oh, why Swerve? Yeah. I don't know. I just want him to get this moment. I mean, I think no better way for him to get the moment and become AEW world champion than getting that moment off and this rub off of Joe. I mean, what a great transition that would be, I think. And to solidify his championship run.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that too. So we appreciate it, dude. I'll be in contact with you soon if you get there first. I don't know. Never mind. I'll keep my sarcastic comments. My Irish Blood's going to keep his sarcastic comments down. I'm kidding, Connor. I'm kidding. But at least, never mind. Shut up, Joe. Okay. Rusty is saying I would say Swerve because few weeks Joe's been beating him down, setting up and telling us Swerve will win. That's a great point, Rusty. If they keep it up with, that's kind of like that old school mentality. If they keep it up like that, yeah, I could see Swerve winning. But if he does not win, then I don't know what else. They're just going, like you said, CZ the other day, they're just going to sweep him under the freaking rug.
Yeah. And I agree with Mike. I mean, if I don't want to see Joe end his title reign yet, but I don't want to see Swerve lose either. So especially, I was never a big fan of Swerve in NXT and WWE. Couldn't stand Hit Row, but since he's come to AEW, he's just shined like the star that he is. And if he doesn't win the title now, look for him on Rampage.
Rusty brought up a good point here. If he loses, he'll become another mirror. Yes, another guy that AEW dropped the freaking ball with. Oh God! And poor guy's going through a divorce too. I hate that. But something else I want to add. Here's a question, guys. Let's test this. We all here have watched old school wrestling. We've discussed it a little bit when y'all were on the show individually, and we all watched the new product. What would you guys say? It's kind of unfair to say this. Would you say a little bit of that old school mentality or old school booking, I should say, is kind of coming back in this new era, but they're doing it a little bit better than what they did back then? Does that question make sense?
Yeah. I think it's I would say it's better now. I mean, you got guys like Triple H who's always kind of had that old school mentality. So he's, bringing a lot of that back. I mean, and even you see that with Shawn Michaels in NXT, So I would definitely say they brought it, that old school booking, but just adding a little twist to the, just keeping up with the times.
I think
I
with
think go ahead.
WWE, with WWE, I think that at least they're getting back to under Triple H's regime. They're getting back to long-term storytelling and long-term booking, and so in that sense, yes. So it depends on where you're looking at. If you're looking at AEW, I wouldn't say the same thing.
I was going to say pretty much that exact same thing. It depends on what product you're watching.
Mhm.
WWE is really coming back to that long-term storytelling, like Ryan said, doing things just so much better than in the past decade or so. AEW, I feel I don't support tribalism. I know a lot of people are either AEW, WWE. I like both for various reasons. But
Right.
AEW feels very much like the inmates are running the asylum.
That sounds very familiar. And like a almost 99. I know JD said it doesn't feel like it, but to me, I think it feels like it. It feels like WCW 2000, or should I say early 2001. That was
Yes.
pretty bad.
Yeah, because even after they showed the last week when they showed the CM Punk Jack Perry video, that week they viewers went up, but this week their viewers went down. So it's just like,
Yeah.
Finger
Rusty
poke the
said
door.
in WWE, yes, but AEW, no. So he's kind of in agreement with this. Let's see, Josh, with WWE easy, I Kobe you, Triple H, okay. Let's see. I'm a fan of wrestling. The only thing AEW did good was the MJF whole story. They did more. Sorry, they did a little bit more cool stuff than that. Yes, the love you, brother. Okay, Josh. But no, AEW, they had some good storylines going. But then again, they've had a bunch of failures, and I think a lot of people look into that and take it with a grain of salt. I love all of professional wrestling. But I'm going to say this. It's like I tell people who I interview and work with in like here in the independents in Kentucky. If it's stupid, I'm going to call it out. So please keep it simple. I say KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't do stupid stuff. Which is why, since JD's gone, I can talk about this because I don't want JD to get fired. Mike knows what I'm talking about. I kind of agree with Punk in a way. I know a lot of people's going to get mad at me for it, but I do kind of agree with Punk. Like, why are you doing like the whole glass thing? There's no sense in it, especially with the rental car deal. I get it. I get like a lot. Some people will pop for it, but it's not for everybody. Don't get me wrong. I like that. I like deathmatch wrestling. I personally like it. Hell, my cousin who's up here, he did it for years. But not everybody on a national television is going to like that. I mean, it's kind of like when, oh God, what's his name? Yeah. Him and Jericho had a death match. Who am I thinking of? MDK all freaking day.
Nick Gage.
Nick freaking Gage. Yes. Oh God, he'll probably find me and kill me now. But it's like that match. I mean, that took it to the limits. Was it cool? Me personally, yeah. I personally thought it was funny he used a pizza cutter in a Domino's commercial. I think that was unintentional. But not many people do or like the deathmatch style of wrestling. So
I'm not a fan of it.
Right. We discussed that. Do you all listen to Sirius XM 150? No, I don't listen. I actually don't have Sirius XM, and I don't. I clip Busted Open Radio a little bit, but not much. But I have nothing but respect for anybody in a sport, especially if you're in it. He says not a fan. Okay. But I have nothing but respect for anybody who gets in the business. Me personally, was in the business wrestling for like 2-3 years. Which is nothing compared to what a lot of people do. But if you do deathmatch wrestling, I mean, more power to you because it takes literally guts to do that. But to bring something like that to the main stage, like the whole Glass thing with Darby Allin. A lot of people were, he kind of got backlash over that when he went through that big Glass pain.
Yeah.
Not many people. It's like, why would you do that? What's the story? Promoter tells smart promoter told me this. What's the end result? If there's not an end result to something, then don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my 2 cents. What do you all say?
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
If you don't have a destination, why start the car?
Yep, I agree. And for me, like when he did that, like it would have been a good match regardless if he didn't jump off the ladder and land onto that glass. Like, man, it's just some stuff like, and then that's another thing with like AEW. It's like y'all doing a little too much with the blood. It's like every week somebody's bleeding, and it's the same people.
Or every
you know
freaking Moxley match he's bleeding.
I think John
God.
Moxley bled on Dynamite like maybe like 6 months for like 6 months straight. That's what it seemed like. You know what I'm saying? Soon as they lock up, John Moxley bleeding. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, come on, man. Like,
even before that, they look at each other and John Moxley is bleeding.
Rusty says Darby took the spotlight off of Sting's last. You know what? I think he kind of did, and I think that's why a lot of people got backlash. Plus, people said they got hurt because of the glass or them sitting in front row. And take it from a person that reffed a death match. Yeah, glass almost getting in your eye is not freaking fun. It is not, especially light tubes. God almighty.
I think
that's a story for another day.
I think like I'm not really a fan of deathmatch wrestling. I can watch it here and there, but my thing is if you're gonna, and how Mike D, how you pointed out about how AEW is constantly using blood, they're constantly having someone bleed, and the hardcore and everything. I can deal with hardcore matches and whatnot, but have it make sense. Like everyone said, have it make sense. What's the purpose of it? Do it for a purpose. Do it to end a feud. Do it to end a rivalry or feud or something like that. Make it special. Don't do it every single show. Don't do it every single match even. So yeah, make it special. If you're going to bleed, make it special. Make it every once in a while.
Right. No, I agree with you. Like, I think that's what a lot of people, especially today, I see it a lot on kind of the independent scene in a way. People want to AEW. I know we're shitting on AEW so much, and I don't want to, but I would use them as an example. They rush into things too much. They want to hurry up with the story instead of giving people the whole gallon of milk. Give them a little glass at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's that simple. You got to give people. If the Bloodline storyline's a great thing, they're giving us a little bit at a time.
Yeah,
they don't need to be. They're not going to rush it. They will not rush it. There's some stuff. If it's short notice, well, then you have no other choice than to rush it. But if you got a potentially great story, do not rush it. Take your time with it. Don't go gung-ho on it. Just make it entertaining. Psychology, yes. Rusty brings up a good point. Psychology 101. I agree with you. If they rush things, where's the psychology in that?
Yeah.
You end up getting into a cluster, which is what I think. Oh, I'm sorry, TK. I hate the crap on you more, buddy. But your results that you got potential, but lay off the Colombian Bam Bam and just focus and stay calm.
Colombian Bam Bam.
Let's see. AEW potentially. God, I can't believe I said that. AEW has the potential for a great storyline, but would you race the car when you can cruise? Yes. That's a better analogy than what I put. Why race a car when you can cruise? Just go out and cruise. Nobody cruises anymore. Not even on Summer Nights Cruise here in Somerset, Kentucky. But if you guys are ever down here, Ron probably knows what I'm talking about. He's a Kentuckian. If you ever come down here, it's a big car event. If you are a car fan, definitely need to come check it out. And, visit your boy. I'm just saying, if you guys ever want to come down, you're more than welcome to go hang out or something. I don't know. But with everything that's going on, Tony Khan, what? Tony Khan looks like it's it every time he's on TV.
The man doesn't blink.
That's true.
I have an exciting announcement. And shakes. Have you ever noticed he shakes sometimes? Whenever he talks, he does like this. It's like, Tony, you okay, man? Do you need to go to a medical facility or something? Oh man. And I just recently shared a video where he called out Nick Khan and he said, "Go away. There's only one room for one Khan in the business." And I'm like, Nick Khan's doing pretty well, man. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You potentially lost. I know there's a lot of CM Punk haters, especially if you are a diehard WWE or Young Bucks fan. He lost a potential wrestler, an old school wrestler mindset, mind you. You chased him away because of this. I hate to say it. So learn from your mistakes. Get better, Tony, because you can. I don't want to see AEW leave. I was excited when AEW was announced back in 2019, 18? 19? Or was it 18?
I think
When was
18 or 9. One of those 18
I
or 19.
want to say 19.
Yeah, because All In was 18.
I think it was 19.
Yeah, because All In was 18. Then 19's when AEW. Okay, yep, that's right. Trying to remember, I was like, I watched All In. When was that? Was that 18? But we'll use All In as an example. That was something extremely special, and we thought AEW was going to be that way, and it was that for a while. Then I think it just kind of went.
Yeah. I want to say like maybe this past year, 6 months.
I'd say year and a half.
Year and a half. Yeah.
I'd say year and a half.
Yeah, they storylines just been kind of like, huh? Like, you know what I'm saying? But then, you know what I'm saying? Like, they've been having injuries too. The Adam Cole injury. MJF is injured.
MJF is taken off the roster list, man. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's all storyline. He'll be back. Yeah,
I mean, that would be great to see. I just want to see MJF back, dude, just in general. I don't care if he signs with WWE, AEW, TNA, NWA, since they're on the CW now. I want to see the modern day Ric Flair back in professional wrestling. There, I said it.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, we are at an hour 33 minutes. We'll go ahead and start wrapping this up. Wizard, what do you all got going on over there at Card Subject Change? MLW, thank you, Rusty. That's another one.
We have our first guest from Dreamwave Wrestling coming on this Sunday, 4:00 Central Time. We're talking with the man who holds the Good as Gold briefcase in Dreamwave. His name is Connor Hopkins. Super excited about that. We've got a couple of I talked about this with you, Joe. We've been trying to branch out of our area. So we've got a couple more wrestlers that we're really excited about that are outside of our home base here in the Quad Cities. Just having a lot of fun. Ready to go. We've got Backlash coming up. We're going to review, and should be some really good episodes coming up, in my opinion.
Okay. Ryan, what you got going on over at the Final Count?
So Saturday we have our newest review show that'll be coming out. We'll be actually recording that tomorrow night. And then it should be out on Saturday at some point, hopefully Saturday morning. If not, be looking for it sometime on Saturday. And then also next week I'll be recording with former WWE star. He was part of the Right to Censor. Bull Buchanan will be on the Final Count.
Nice.
So, be looking for that to come out. We'll be recording on Tuesday of next week. So be looking for that to come out the following Monday.
Nice. Okay. That great stuff going on between you two. But last but not least, let's go to the main event. Mike D, what you got going on, man?
Right now, I want to do maybe like 2 more episodes of my podcast before, kind of take like a season finale break or something like that. But what I want to start leaning more is reaching out to my hometown, Michigan, Detroit, whatever. So that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to be looking into, looking for more hometown wrestlers, trying to get them on the show. And I'm thinking about doing something special for my last episode. Kind of doing something where give subscribers and my followers and stuff to ask me questions, and probably putting it on the last episode and just answering their questions and stuff. And also check out the Voyage Michigan interview that I did. I did an interview with an online magazine, so that was pretty cool. And that'll be on my Facebook page. I'll post it and repost it again. But other than that, just trying to just get the word out here that Wrestling 313 is here, and just trying to do my part in the wrestling industry. That's all.
All right,
Mike,
man.
you mentioned you're in the Detroit area. Let me ask you, have you been to a Clash Wrestling show? I was in your area about 8 months ago. Clash Wrestling did a really good job.
No, I didn't go. I'm trying to, I want to get more into the indies because Michigan has a real good has good indie wrestling. I did go to an indie show about a year ago. Northwest Championship Wrestling. They're now Superior Championship Wrestling. Shout out to them. That was my first experience at an indie show. So, and it was pretty cool. And that's something that, this summer that, I want to try to get into more into that indie scene.
All right. Sounds
Well worth
good.
it.
All right, folks, pro wrestling fans. Oh, yeah. Rusty says he is from Arlington, and he is a World Class Championship Wrestling Dallas fan since he was a kid. If we ever, we'll talk that. If we ever do this again, we may start talking about history of pro wrestling, just with the round table or something, because I would like to touch base on World Class and actually touch base on the film Iron Claw. I know I did a film review with my buddy Mike. It's on our Joe Monroe Show YouTube page. Go check that out. But I would rather I like to do it with you all, get some y'all's input on it too. But and he also said, sorry, Rangers beat the Tigers, dude. Sorry, Mike.
Hey, that was a good game. That was a good game earlier
That was
today.
a good game.
I think Rangers ended up winning 9-7.
Yeah, that is a really good game. But with that being said, pro wrestling fans, this is Joe Monroe. I'm here with the wizard himself, CZ, Ryan Mosley of the Final Count, and Mike D, the king of the 313. You know what? Hey, that sounds good, Mike. There you go. Patting it. We got a wizard, we got a king, and we got Ryan. Ryan, you need to come up with a nickname, bro. Apparently, somebody says, what is it?
It's not Ryback, but it's Rymode.
Ramo. Somebody said I look like KO, so the other night I jokingly said this has been Joe KO Monroe. Nope, I don't like it. Oh my God. But with that being said, folks, this has been a great time with my friends. We may have some more people come on next time if we ever get a chance to do this again. So until next time, I'll be back on tomorrow with special guests. Don't say the F word. And then we'll be back with coverage for the Monticello show that is happening at the Aspire Center in Monticello, Kentucky. So if you're around that area, please come check us out. I will be there, run around like a madman or a chicken with his head cut off, whatever you want to think. But with that being said, folks, I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe. Have a great night. And always, always, always support professional wrestling. We are out.
You've been listening to the Joe Monroe Show with Joe Monroe. Don't forget to like and subscribe.